first live stream. Somehow we've hit 121.
Drink.
Yeah, if you're 121.
Do we have the 121st birthday? Like your 21st birthday, but after you become a vampire for 100 years.
I think you'd just go to 125.
Yeah, it's like the vampires coming of age. Like you're an adult now. You can drink alcoholic blood or something.
See, just 121's when you can get into the hard drugs. That's when it's legal.
Oh my god.
How are you not dead yet? Enjoy.
Silly. Right. So what are we doing here?
Well, we're critiquing horses. Today we have the ever industrious Fluffy Zai.
Hello.
And
Yoshi.
And Yoshi, yes, Yoshi Claw.
Yoshi.
That's so great.
I'll be in the background somewhere.
Like, look out with your tongue, grab some paintings, and like absorb their powers. Wait, that's Kirby.
Nintendo, you can hire me. I'll be a backup.
Sounds legit.
In case you somehow lose all of your recordings of Yoshi voices.
They're gonna flag us, man.
Flagged. So
Anyway.
Let's start off with the art. So on the left.
That's a good place to start.
Oh no. But on the left we got Pony 76 with advices. P.S. She's not walking, just standing on those two right with left ones up.
Okay.
Your horse is about to fall over.
That's a very big booty, I have to say. So I feel like some of your body pieces are disjointed out here. I mean, it looks almost sort of like the head is separate coming from a body over here, if that makes any sense. Because it feels a bit disconnected from the neck. If you sort of look at how, if I can draw a circle right, so if this is the face, you've got the back of the neck coming on here. That's then twisting around a bit on the spine, which probably isn't very healthy to stay like that for very long. Coming back around here, and then the sort of tail comes out. Shoulders should be sort of like this. So it's very easy. We don't know if you did much under sketching or just went straight for it because this is digital. Also, I'm echoing like a bunch.
There you
Is that
go.
your headphones again?
Yep. I got too close.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, it's just sort of like looking at once you get this skeleton in, and you can see how I've got sort of like this flow here going from the neck along the back of the body. That really helps you to get the basis for the pony. Because ponies are curvy, soft, round things. They're not all straight and rigid. So this sort of helps you get that flow in there, and then you can look at, okay, so like the leg, I want to go over here. This one's gonna sort of come out somewhere this way. And I'm not quite sure about the posing. It's not really my strong suit. My friends here can probably help out a bit more with this, but I'm just sort of trying to think how. I know when they lift their legs up, they sort of tuck them in a lot. I'm not quite sure how that looks from the back view. That's a very nice front leg. That's what I was about to do anyway.
Yeah.
See, I have such helpful partners.
In crime.
Partners in art crime.
My suggestion would don't do both legs on the same side up. We said they're gonna fall over.
That's something I always try to avoid, is don't have them have both legs on the same side. Like always try to cross it up so it's sort of like a diagonal.
Unless they're like specifically straining to try to, be only on the two legs on one side.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you need to have supporting facts for why they would do that, because if they're just naturally standing, that's not going to last long, and like everyone's saying, it'll fall over.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is, like, I'm not sure. I mean, the leg is lifted up very widely. It's almost like they're a pupper going to mark their territory. I'm not really sure what exactly the purpose of lifting their leg up specifically in this way is, other than like deliberately trying to present themselves, which is a little bit too much for this stream.
So they were given some wonderful critique by Maze Temporal, and it's
good old
Maisie. Yep. The critique they're given is the neck is connecting to the jaw rather than back of the head, which you talked about. Foreground leg should probably not have full line separation from body, so that's what we've done with the arm here. If we clean up Fluffy's eyes little blue line here, you can see it. Basically, you connect that shoulder to the body, and it helps. What are you doing, Dino? Anyway, it helps give that connection to the body to stop it from just floating away. Some other suggestions was chest looks like it's sticking out really far, which you talked about. Mouth gets really close to eyes. Kind of cartoony. Oh, you can alter it, but I mean, if you're going for that ultra cartoony, okay.
So, like, something I could suggest is, like, even if you're gonna go ultra cartoony, there's some things you can do to kind of, like, the face, when it moves, affects the rest of the face. So you have your smile up real nice and big. That's gonna push your cheek up, and your cheek is gonna push up on your eye. So, like, if you keep the smile, like, you know, if you keep the smile here, like, nice big old smile, well, then your eye is also gonna have that little push up, like, sort of like any kind of reaction, any kind of push or pull is going to have some other reaction on the face. And even if you want to do super big exaggerated smile, that's okay, as long as you know, go along with other things it would affect. Kind of like the eye being pushed up, the cheek being pushed up with a really big smile. Well, not the eye. The eye wouldn't move, the cheek, the eyelid.
Yeah, it's sort of the skin around it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of our scribbles on top of this are very abstract, and you're probably going to look at this later like, how do I can't redline over this? But sometimes it can get confusing. I'm sorry about that, but I hope that what we said can provide some insight, and I hope some of what we've seen, you could just like put it on repeat and just watch the little clips of us drawing over and over again. There's some horrible perspective I've done here. This hoof should be... Oh, my tools have gone running away. There we go.
And like I think the big things to grab from this is just that maybe think about the pose a little bit more, the stability of it, and also the position of the head. Like right now, your jaw, like it's been talked about, but your jaw, pretty much your jaw is connected to your neck. Like it goes from chin to neck. And as we talked about before, there's kind of this bend as Fluffy drew here. You know, you'll have some sort of a flow with the neck. It's honestly, look up anatomy references. So many people have made how to draw MLP anatomy. Even look into horses. Any kind of four-legged animal will be helpful for the basics of the structure. So just, you know, look into that.
Look, try going sort of Debbie Boru, searching like or with the safe tag first of all, and then like back view or behind view. I can't remember. I think there's a couple. But you can get some nice sort of rear shots, because it is sometimes a tough angle. I mean, there's plenty of times in the show. I'm pretty sure you could pick any random episode, hit pause at a random point, and just like you'll find characters facing away from the camera, so to speak, in any scene, any episode. They do it all the time. So just pick one, pause it, see, and you can probably find some good shots of them walking away too, and then like watch them in motion, pause at specific pose points. I know you said yours isn't walking, but you can still see sort of like how the legs are evenly spread to hold the weight at any one point as they're in motion, with some of them being lifted up. So it'll give you a good idea of how to translate that to your pose. So, oh no, an excuse to watch ponies.
Hello, Ravioli. All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Sounds good to me.
Which is conveniently Ravioli, who just joined.
Why, hello there, Convenient Ravioli.
That should be your nickname now, Convenient Ravioli.
So my only... What? Why aren't you doing the thing? Do the thing. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong layer.
How dare you do something that we all easily do every single time we do this?
How dare I?
So they did get some critique. and their post was originally, so I was just cleaning up the sketch and start to ink it. But are there any comments, or are there any bigger errors? Holy cow, I gotta figure out how to read words. And
Hold on, Fluffy. There might be a change.
Oh my god, the splits was Spike
Whoa.
looks great. Twilight seems to like, seems like she has almost no neck, and it's hard to tell how the wings are connected to the body. I wouldn't know how to simply readjust that in traditional art, but these are things I look forward to future pieces.
Yeah.
Woohoo! I think you've got some really good construction of like the face and head and everything's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what you've got here. I don't know if you've been studying movie style, but that's sort of the impression I get. You got like the outside of the head here, so it's showing the eyeball. It's not just like some weird thing connected to the side of the head. A lot of stuff that we often talk about here on the channel. Ooh. You could do something I usually do and sort of like bend the chin around the mouth. Got a cute little snoot, which I really like. I like your snooty snoot.
Boop that snoot.
I think something that stands out to me is that the body almost feels like it's fighting to be like side view and 3/4 view at the same time. Like the front shows much clearer 3/4 view, but the back legs start to feel more flat, and then the tail also makes it feel flat because of that.
Yeah. I can't remember how Twilight's tail is supposed to make sense from 3D perspective. You've got sort of like a weird knife shape going on with the tail almost. And I like how if you with a lot of things, particularly some artist interpretations where you got like the gap here, if you were to look at it, let me just hollow that out. 3D-ness. I know with a lot of artists, if you look at it like front on, you have like an exclamation point sort of look, which I think is really clever, a really good nice way of interpreting it. But get that overlap in.
Yeah, that overlap is the best friend you'll ever have.
So what were you about to say?
Honestly, I forget, but I think you covered what I meant. The other problem zone I see is the back leg here. It's pretty much everything's on the same plane, and it shouldn't be, especially if we're looking at her from 3/4 angle. Like, the back legs will be a little bit behind her because they're not quite, all flat with her.
Or you could sort of have them overlapping like this, but again, that sort of looks a bit side view, so worth experimenting with. Let's go with Ali's idea. It's just sort of looking at the posing. Okay. It's trouble because the if you had the leg switched and had the back one as one that was up, then with the leg coming down, if this was the front leg, you can have that coming down and really get that sense of the plane. But since this is the back one, we sort of pushed it back a little bit. But you can instead you can still sort of have a bit of the this leg being in front without doing too much to make it look. I lost my train of thought.
It's one of those days.
Struggling on the drawing, without sort of pushing it too far towards the side view look. So that's one of the things that's sort of interesting. Sometimes you might need to change up a pose, not because you're struggling to get the physical pose to actually look right, but because it might look a bit nicer if you can utilize something. Oh my god, so many noises. if you can, it's like, okay, well, if I change this pose, like it's virtually the same thing, except if I change the legs around, I get to use something that will help me make the picture a bit better. So that leg's cool, but then let's say, okay, we want to experiment. The body comes down. Okay, so this back leg here is the one that's the one sort of lifted up, and then this one here in the front is the one that's pulling back. And that way we get to say, okay, now we can really define this is the front. And then you can even, of course, these legs probably need to be switched then. Maybe have one of them sort of propped up in ready to stand, ready to step pose, and then you get that overlap in. And it's like, hey, look, I can tell immediately where she's facing, what's behind what, the plane that she's standing on. So it's like, even though what you did as a pose wasn't in any way wrong, and you did a really good job of it. Because I was going to say as well, like walking poses are one of my banes. They're just so hard, but you've done a good job of it. But sometimes switching them, and you don't have to do this. This is just an idea, suggestion. But sometimes switching things around like this can give you something that you can work with to help increase the flow of a picture or the perspective of it. So you've increased the composition just by giving yourself the room to add this overlap. So it sort of gives you a bit more working room to be creative. But yeah, just a suggestion. You can keep with the original pose if you want. It's just about sort of how you define the little box that she's standing on. You want like a little, okay, here she is standing in this, or maybe a little bit tighter than that. Maybe, yeah, something like this. But you want to be able to define, okay, this is the box she's standing on.
That's looking a lot
The
nicer
picture is
already.
getting fluffed. There we go. I see you there, so you can see fluff in the picture. Oops. Did any of my friends have anything?
So I guess along the lines of Twilight, we also got a little bit of flatness with Spike's tail, and all I really did was just apply the same thing we did to Twilight's tail, which was give it some overlap and really make it feel like it's behind him instead of coming out and going to the side. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's dealing with overlaps and trying to persuade the viewer that this is a 3D shape. We're viewing it from a different angle, so it won't be so flat. We'll see like the tail as like a tube instead of just like a rectangle, I guess, technically. That's just, drew a little circle here behind his body circle to kind of indicate, okay, it's coming out from the back there, and it kind of went from there. Just little overlaps. You could probably even make it a little wider. He's got Spike's a chubby body boy. He's like baby chub.
He's a chubby dragon. Spike is pretty hard to draw. I mean, I struggled with him.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have anything? Any questions from the audience?
Don't forget the scales.
Well, I thought you were gonna say that. Sounds.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh.
Yeah, they were there. The picture got moved around, but yes, don't forget the little scaly thingies.
Skills.
Very important piece of critique. You put the box the wrong way up. You clearly don't know how to follow instructions, Spike.
All right. I think that's it. Unless if you got any questions for us, Ravioli.
I think someone submitted something in the Picarto chat.
What? People don't actually talk. I have good news. Today is the release date of an awesome movie, and it's called Batman Ninja.
What?
Right.
It's Batman as a ninja. It's all animated. It's just, oh my gosh, the picture's huge.
Oh my gosh. I'm a sock puppet. Oh my god.
I can't undo it.
I did not see that down there on the bottom.
And I'm Yoshi too.
That is great. I saw her drawing the Yoshi. I didn't.
CPC, you're magical. Truly, truly magical.
See, you know what we have to do now? We have to actually make these sock puppets and go to Galacon. Got to make a cute Penscase one and a fluffy Spirit Wind one.
It's a long way to go.
Hmm?
It's a long way to go. All right.
Well, you guys can do a BronyCon with the Zum Zum and Aliclo ones.
But we're not going this year.
Oh no! Quick, MLPGS RRL hangout. We'll find the nearest, like, we'll work out the math and find the nearest crossing point between all of us, and then it'll be some tiny island in the middle of the ocean.
Sounds perfect.
All right. So this one, Tarson. What's the question? If you got any. Okay, so I feel like there are things that just like ugh with it. I need more details than that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I understand if you sort of don't quite have an understanding of what's wrong with your picture, because that is an important thing. That is something I do want to mention, because I don't know if we talk about it all that much on here. But when you're making art, you know, the two things. This is something we do talk about sometimes. The two things you build up is your art skill and your analytical eye, and these are constantly leapfrogging each other. So as you develop in skill, you start thinking, yeah, my art's amazing, it's going so well right now, I'm really improving, and then your analytical eye catches up, and you feel like you sort of stagnated, and then it continues to grow, and you feel like that your art's not going anywhere. But yeah, the point I was going to make is, as you develop your ability to see and understand pictures, you improve your ability to see what's wrong with them. And if you get to a certain point, you can very well draw a picture and immediately see what's wrong with it. Sometimes you need like a 5-minute break before you come back to it and see what's wrong. Other times, particularly when you're just starting out or still learning, still developing, it might take weeks or even months. And plenty of times I've gone back to, I mean, this is like years ago, I draw pictures, and then like a year later or a couple months later, I'd come back to it and immediately be able to see everything that was wrong with it, which at the time I was like, I can tell it's not perfect, but I can't really see anything wrong with it. And then I come back a little while later and it's like, oh my god, this head is too small, this hand is huge, this arm is bent weirdly, that hand is backwards. This is just, you know, start listing off all the things that's just wrong with it that I can't believe I couldn't see before. So sometimes it's worth, like, I know this isn't helpful for this picture, but coming back to older pieces and looking at them. But this one, for stuff like this, like if you just drawn it, it might be worth just going away, cleansing your eyes, looking at other pieces of art, having a cup of tea, you know, just step outside for a walk, whatever. And if you come back to your picture, you might be able to then you might be able to give yourself a bit more of an analysis than it looks kind of ugh. You might be able to say, oh, I can kind of tell what's wrong now. So I think, is there a particular reason why RD is so teeny tiny compared to Fluttershy? I know she's a filly, but that's a very, very small, considering already having cutie mark filly.
There is an artist who love to do small RD, and I think this might be a play on that.
Yeah, Fluttershy would be the tallest, and RD is the smallest.
just drawing tiny RD. Yes, that's what they said they wanted to do.
So, I guess going on to proportions and such, the big thing that sticks out to me right away is the chest, because if we look at your belly line here, it curves down into where it doesn't, connect to anything, where the chest line, curves downward also. So it's like kind of an awkward circle, and yeah, the chest, usually has a smooth transition from going to the neck, the chest, and onto the belly. That was the first thing that like really poked out to me.
You mentioned 3D perspective, and something that would help is looking at how the characters are aligned, because currently she's looking down at Rainbow, kind of next to her, kind of like looking. The perspective we get is not that one that Rainbow Dash is in front of Fluttershy perspective to the viewer. We do get the overlap here, indicating she's not behind her, but that sort of, to me, pins that she's somewhere sort of like in front of Fluttershy, going at this sort of third quarter view. But looking at the hooves, it looked like Rainbow Dash is very much in front of Fluttershy this way, and that's not what you were trying to do by the looks of it. So I would work on that. You can have looking at the way her hooves are positioned. I'm not sure if you're going for like her body twisted a little bit, so you wanted to have a sort of going back a little bit, so her body's sort of turned or something. I'm not really sure. But it depends what you want from the perspectives. This is one thing I want to suggest. If you want to get better at 3D perspective, I think a good thing to do is know what you want from it. Like, know where the characters are supposed to be placed in relation to each other, because I think you've confused yourself a little bit here. And I think because of that, you struggle to get the pose in a way that makes sense from a positioning perspective, while it might not be so bad from an anatomy perspective. So just sort of like, okay, where are these characters placed? Where are they going? Where are they facing? Where are they looking? These are good questions to sort of ask yourself, even subconsciously, before you start, and then sort of work out, okay, like, so I got tall pony over here, cool, and then I got little pony over here, and then sort of saying, okay, well, that doesn't look right. Sort of work on the composition a little bit. Little pony, okay, yeah, cool, because then you can say, yeah, then they're like this. They're standing right in front of each other. And then you can use that to work out the shape of the picture. Or you might decide, no, I want a bit more of an angle on it. Let's say, for example, the tall pony is here in front. Little pony is at the back. Oh, that's not very good. So then it's like, okay, look, that's awesome. Now I can see we got this disappointing point, and we can see the 3D angle here between them. So it's all about sort of just knowing your approach before you go in.
Totally.
The bow on the RDA, that's cute.
Yeah. And Q Pencil Case makes a good point. The body bean was a bit upside down. If we look over at the blue little bean, CPC drew. Basically, why is the thing working? How did it get into an
the questions of draw pile, it will always mystify.
I think it destroyed my brush.
It's done that to me plenty of times. I'm like, why is it on this?
Anyway, but yes, the bean-shaped body. Usually the tummy arches down because, like, think about like gravity. A tummy is soft, you know, it doesn't really have bones. There's the ribs that are the hard part, and then you have the tummy, which is exposed, and usually that'll sag. Even if it's like a super fit animal, the skin will still sort of sag there. And not like extremely sag, but there'll still be weight that like kind of makes it rounded out at the bottom instead of like tucked upwards. So instead of, you know, the belly having that rounded bit upwards, the back will actually have that crevice, like the small of a back on a human. Like if you see a human standing straight, we don't actually stand straight. We kind of have like a curve inward on our back and down to our butt. So just a little thing to keep in mind there. Yeah. And same with proportioning. What I did here was draw 3 circles. And we could probably bring Fluttershy a little bit closer together, unless you want to go more horse proportions. Then we're talking a different story, because like the barrel of a horse, which is like their chest, is much larger, and that's why their bodies are elongated a bit more. So it really, depending on what kind of anatomy you want, get your references, and that'll help you more than we can.
This picture's adorable still.
It's still really adorable.
Yes. So I hope that helped answer some of your questions.
Do you have any further questions for us? Does anyone have art they'd like to submit?
Please throw art at us.
I'll see if I can get my brush working again.
Nice. That would be quite helpful to do.
If no one has any art, this is the 30-minute stream.
Unthinkable.
Not the fastest stream we've had, but definitely.
We just gotta say we started half an hour early. We started at 10, not 10:30.
Final countdown.
I am. Oh! Can't turn out musicians updated. Totally not tumbling while doing this.
What?
Cool. Glad we could help, Torsen.
Yay!
Yeah.
No one else with art?
Not in the Picato. Anyone Discord?
Any deep-seated questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why won't Wacom love us? Or why won't Huon love us?
What?
Leon.
I mean, they let us in onto a week of sales, but
That's
we
pretty
just
cool.
aren't big enough.
It's true. It's true. One day.
We gotta get we gotta move past these half-hour streams and get all the art and do full
That's a lot of horse.
All right.
8 hour streams.
We're gonna start streaming 4 times a week with like 5-hour streams each. We're gonna go full time. Everyone quit your jobs.
Good, done. At the very least, Ali, you and me need to sort out streaming sometime, like we've been
Really
trying to
do.
do for ages. We just haven't actually sat down and been like, what would be a good day to like stream on?
Exactly.
Hey, Shadowkick, you know what you should draw? Hugs. Because that's the weekly theme, son! Woo!
Hugs?
Yeah, weekly theme.
That's
Hugs
a
or
pretty great
pugs?
weekly theme.
Hugs.
Hugs.
But you could give a hug to a pug. You could have a pug
Yeah, you
giving
can draw
a
a
hug
hugging
to a
pug.
Fluttershy.
Hugs are great. I like hugging. It is a way to tell people you're great.
Hey, Fluffy.
Hello.
You're
You're great.
Aw,
Hey, LD.
you're too
Yo.
nice.
You're great.
You're not so bad yourself.
Keep Ben's a case.
You're Fluffy.
Fluffing mad, but great.
And you keep clogging my vacuum.
I love something the other day when you were just like in one of the chats, like, why is there like so much fluff clogging up my thing? And like for the first like legitimate time, got to actually make a use of that like guilty spirit one thing that I was drawing. The emote. That's the first time I got to use it sincerely.
Yay!
Like, I'm sorry for all the fluff.
Alright, well, if that's it, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next week for 122. Hey, we should do something for 125. What do you think we should?
Yeah?
We'll take
Another
suggestions
party
from
stream?
the Peanut Gallery if anyone's got any.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Because we're getting there. Wait, what? 120? One sec. Am I even here for the 125th? 23rd, oh no!
Oh no! Is it gonna be a Fluffy's Eye hosted stream again?
I'll be there, I think.
It
Oh, yeah, you're hosting.
It depends what happens. My twin comes back to my town that weekend, or that week, and I was gonna
You
hang
have
out
a
with
clone
him.
zombie? Wait, are they a zombie too?
No, but he might be
So-
hanging out with other friends, so I will play it by ear.
Okay. We'll have to find out later. Either way, I'm sure we'll find a way for the show to go on for the folks in Picardo.
All right, so long, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.